So the other day, I was getting ready for bed, but all of a sudden, I noticed a huge-ass spider lurking on top of the window curtain. That freaked me out. This dude was huge and hairy. It was no ordinary spider. Like if spiders took steroids and worked out at the gym, this was the one. Here's the thing. I live by myself, which means no one else could help me. It was just me and the spider in the room. There was no other choice. I had to do something. So I left it alone and went to bed. What do you want me to do? I didn't want to die. This isn't my area of expertise. I wasn't prepared. You know how it is. But man, I still couldn't sleep though. I mean, how could you really? You know what I mean? I heard every noise that big-ass ugly bugly was making, crawling up and down the curtains. It drove me insane. Finally, I mustered up some courage, turned the lights back on, and slept on the couch. Nah, I'm just kidding. I didn't want to be a toasty. So I ran to fetch my shoe. See, originally, I wanted to kill it with this overdue bug spray, but decided that was probably not a good idea.
Nope.
Eh? Why isn't it dying?
Gotcha, bitch.
So I settled with these. Adrenaline drove away the fear. I can do this! I aimed and fired.
Hulk smash!
But it escaped. There was no wall behind the curtain to stabilize the force. Oh, I wish I'd known that earlier. Now the spider was nowhere to be found. My soul left my tender little body, but moments later, the spider appeared back on the wall again. Ah, yes! Life had given me a second chance. This time, I smashed it so hard, the walls vibrated with an explosion. Huh? Did you hear that?
Never mind that, honey. Don't stop. Keep going.
Okay. I think my hand broke, but it was worth it because the spider was finally dead. All this gooey green stuff poured out. Ugh. Fun fact, spider blood is actually bluish green and not red. As if they weren't scary enough already. Also, did you know, while sleeping, humans eat an average of 7 spiders in a lifetime. Just listen to this, doctor.
Humans eat an average of 7 spiders in a lifetime. I know what I'm talking about. The earth is flat.
So I got back in bed, but still couldn't sleep. How did it come in? Were there more spiders like this somewhere in the room? Would his family come searching for him, realizing his death and seek revenge on my little ass when I fall asleep? Needless to say, I barely slept, and my mind started wandering around thinking about bugs. Like the time when I forgot to close the lid on top of my lunchbox and left the kitchen table. 5 minutes later, I came back and found a huge-ass cockroach in there. I panicked and did what any normal person would have done. I quickly closed the lid and sealed it shut. Oh, it was a bittersweet moment, folks. I had successfully trapped the cockroach, but my lunch had been taken hostage. I already knew I couldn't eat the lunch because of contamination and feces and all that, so the hostage wasn't really worth saving anyway. But I had another dilemma, you see. Do I throw away the lunchbox into the abyss, never to be seen again? Or do I wash it clean later on and keep using it? Can you imagine trying to eat in that lunchbox again, knowing full well that a cockroach had once occupied its territory? That's like if you were sleeping with somebody, right? But knowing, without a doubt, that in the past they had slept with a cockroach. No? It's not quite the same. Anyway, I decided to throw it away. But man, it was devastating. Not really because I couldn't eat the food, you know. It was just a poorly made sandwich anyway. But, well, I had bought the lunchbox for $10 a few days earlier. This cockroach had the nerve to come into my house, crawl into my lunchbox, eat my food, make me waste my money, and thought he could get away with it? Nope, say goodbye.
Gotcha, bitch.
The garbage truck is coming for you. Of course, the cockroach is probably like, come on, man, you can't even spare one crumb. I got a whole family to feed. We haven't eaten in weeks. Well, that's no reason for breaking and entering. Well, that's no reason for committing murder. Okay, let's move on. One time when I came back from school, I found my mom squatting on the lounge room floor. She was terrified. Apparently, a cockroach was hiding under the table, but my mom was too scared to kill it. So she just camped outside, holding a shoe in one hand, for 20 minutes, waiting for me to come back. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? I'm scared too. Here's the thing about my mom. She's like the scariest person I know. When I was growing up, she was super strict and she shouted at me all the time, over the smallest things too. Now, if you have immigrant parents, you know what I'm talking about. What I'm trying to say is, she was always the one scaring other people. And by other people, I obviously mean me. So to see her afraid of a little bug, as you can imagine, that was new to me. Nonetheless, I wanted to prove my worthiness in front of her, so when the cockroach finally came out, I smashed it to bits. That's right, folks, I killed it. And then my mom hugged me and thanked me, and she was crying with joy. Oh, she was so proud of me, like I just won the Olympics or something. Again, this was new to me. See, even when I got straight A's at school, she was never this happy. She would just say, okay, good, well, that's what you're supposed to be getting. Well, you want a cookie for that? Okay, she never said that last part, but still, isn't that weird? Me killing a cockroach made her prouder of me than anything else I could have done. Anything else at all. She really needs to get her perspective in line, just saying. This other time, I saw a cockroach fly into the kitchen.
Oh, bitch, get out the way.
Like no joke, it really had wings. What kind of mutant roach is this? Like the first ever X-Men cockroach? And all this time, I thought it was doing just fine on the ground. I didn't know it could do that. This roach really be changing the rules of the game.
Look at you, now look at me.
He's able to reach further for food and at a much more efficient rate. He's like the Steph Curry of roaches. Have you ever heard of Darwinian theory, survival of the fittest, something like that? It's like as if all the roaches got together in congregation one day. You know, these humans are killing too many of our brothers and sisters. All we're trying to do is find food to feed our families, and we're being murdered down like bugs. The justice system is corrupt. I agree. We need to protect ourselves. Yeah, I have an idea. Why don't we mate with the flies? This way, our babies might develop wings, which means we will have a much better chance of finding food, as well as escaping from these murderous humans. And the whole crowd went, yeah.
Wait, what about the flies? Shouldn't we ask for their opinion too?
Who cares about that? Let's get to it. You know how it is. Chop chop.
Nani?
Speaking of flies, one time my friends and I were playing basketball in the park. The game was getting intense, son. And all of a sudden, as my friend Andy went for a layup, a fly flew into his mouth. Have you ever seen a fly go into somebody's mouth? Ugh, I saw it as he swallowed it up. It was the easiest open layup of Andy's life, but he couldn't make it because once that fly went in, that boy was shaking convulsively midair like he was possessed. Upon landing, he started coughing and choking and trying to vomit it out. Ugh, yuck. Okay, well, we gotta go. See ya, don't wanna be ya. Just kidding. We didn't leave him there by himself. What kind of friends would we be? So we all stood by his side, just watching, like a spectacle. I mean, what do you want me to do? I'm not trained for this kind of thing. I can't perform CPR on his fly-infested mouth.
Hold me, never let.
I'm not mentally strong enough for that. Eating flies, now that was new to us as well. One friend asked, what happened, man? He didn't see the fly go into Andy's cake hole, but I did. So I said, I saw a fly Flappy Bird his ass all the way into your mouth. I really shouldn't have said that. We're still friends, right? Anyway, so Andy had to admit, yeah, I think it was a fly. Actually, he wasn't that composed. It was more like, oh, I think it was a fly. Mother. I'm gonna kill that fly. Well, at least he did kind of kill it, so that was a win. But at what cost? My other friend asks, so where's the fly now? Andy says, yeah, it flew out. But I never saw it come out. He totally swallowed that fly. But at least I had the decency to not call his bluff this time. Moments later, we started playing basketball again. But Andy had his mouth shut the whole time. What's that saying? Once eaten, twice shy. But Andy had gained flying abilities after swallowing that fly.
I believe I can fly.
He started somersaulting in midair and then dunking. I'm just kidding. That didn't happen. This was no Spider-Man movie where you gain superpowers like that. Oh, actually, Andy barely jumped at all, like trying to shoot a jump shot on tippy toes. Clearly, the fly was heavily weighing down on him. After the session, I asked him how the fly tasted. He said it was very plain. Well, that's disappointing. The next time, you should really add some flavoring. But on the positive side though, that would probably be the only fly he would ever eat. Unlike spiders, because as you already know,
Humans eat an average of 7 spiders in a lifetime.
so yeah, in case you haven't noticed, I hate bugs. What about you? Okay, it's morning now. Didn't get any sleep. Time to go to work. Bug my life. Peace out.